SYNALYSIS, SYNALYSIS. Welcome to the new Cosmic Knowledge Jeff Daugherty Show YouTube channel. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. Glad to have you here with us. And if you're Googling SYNALYSIS and you can't find it, that's because it's a word I made up. So you're not going to find it. Actually, it's a word that my stepfather made up and gave me license to use. So you're not going to find SYNALYSIS on Google. You're not going to be able to look it up and find out what it means. I invented the word, and it's something that we all need to become available with. We need to become familiar with. It really is a new paradigm, an advancement in human cognition or thinking. And I must have kicked one of my lights on the way in because it's cockeyed. But anyway, this has been gesticulating. This has been marinating. This has been here floating around in my mind for a few days. It started when I was over in Fort Lauderdale, and Sandra and I were driving around. I don't know if we were going out to dinner, going on a ghost walk, going to the grocery store. I can't remember, but we were driving around, and all of a sudden, I see Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church. And it was like, it was a super flashback for me. I see Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church, and back when I was a Pentecostal evangelist, I was really big on evangelism. I was really big on door-to-door evangelism. And it was so funny. I'd go knocking on doors as I'd go preach revivals for people, preach meetings. I'd go door-to-door knocking, inviting them to come out. And it was so funny because they were so happy. People were so happy that I wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. They were so happy that I wasn't a Mormon. I didn't want to talk about present world conditions indicating that Armageddon is around the corner. I didn't want to talk about sticking your head in a hat and figuring out what and deciphering gold plates. I was going door to door to invite people to come out to church because we were going to have a meeting. And the reason why I knew about Coral Springs Presbyterian Church, like, you were Pentecostal, bro. That's about the furthest thing from Presbyterian, and that's true, and that's part of the issue, because the pastor, the founder of that church, was a man named D. James Kennedy. He's now passed on. He's dead, 2007, 2008, but he had started this thing called Evangelism Explosion, and it was a super nifty, systematic plan for, Rachel Stone would have said, no, thank you, and closed the door. That happened a couple times, but let me tell you what else happened. You won't believe this, but it doesn't matter anyway. And I don't like that door-to-door stuff. Okay. But anyway, one time I was going door-to-door, and this is when I was pastoring a church in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, knocked on the door, invite somebody to church. Young lady, she opens the door, had a pistol in her hand. She was about ready to kill herself. Became one of our most dedicated parishioners, one of our most dedicated attendees there at the Coeur d'Alene Church of God, the first church that I ever pastored. So how do you like that door-to-door stuff now? I'm sorry, I can't help it. But how do you like that door-to-door stuff now, knowledge seeker? Why do I challenge the people that are here to listen to me? Maybe that's what we're here to do. You challenge me, I challenge you. Sometimes we all need a checkup from the neck up. Sometimes we need to get rid of some stinking thinking. And yeah, I know the door-to-door, yeah, but there you go. Things happen. So anyways, knowledge seeker, thank you for being here. I don't like the door-to-door stuff either, but it has at times served a particular purpose. So anyway, back to Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church. I always say Coral Springs. It's really Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church. D. James Kennedy. Evangelism Explosion. Very nice, systematic way to work on, well, she got lucky. One of us got lucky. Very nice, systematic way to evangelize your community. knock, knock, talk, talk, invite, invite. And I changed some of it because it was very Presbyterian. It was very, Calvinist. It was very kind of stuffy. But, and I introduced it to a lot of Florida because I was in Florida. And I get this letter from D. James Kennedy. And he was politely asking me to stop using evangelism explosion, because what was happening is there were so many people, we were being so effective, and we were evangelizing them, and we were exploding, but it was the Pentecostals. They were coming into the Pentecostal church. They were getting saved. They were getting baptized in the Holy Ghost. They were speaking in tongues. They're getting healed, demons, the whole 9 yards. And Dr. Kennedy, that was a little bit outside his comfort zone, which is crazy. But I remember trying to relate this to Sandra, and she didn't quite get it because I'm a little bit of a crazy guy. But I wrote him back and I said, thank you for publishing Evangelism Explosion. We're going to continue to use it. Maybe if your name was D. Jesus Kennedy, I might do what you say, but you're just D. James Kennedy. So have a nice day. But it's a perfect example of what I want to talk about here as far as SYNALYSIS, S-Y-N, not S-I-N, don't get hung up on it, SYNALYSIS. And we've been 2,000 years, folks, of Roman/Judeo/Christian indoctrination. We've been 2,000 years indoctrinated by Roman, Judeo-Christian indoctrination. We've been enslaved for 2,000 years, at least in the modern context, by this Roman mindset, by this Judeo mindset, by this Christian mindset. And think about what that mindset is. What's the Roman mindset? All roads lead to Rome. The great Roman Empire, right? What's the Judeo-Christian? We're God, the Judeo thought. We're God's chosen people. What's the Christian thought? Unless you become a Christian, you're going to hell. That is a very, very dogmatic, very, very exclusive, very, very ethnocentric. That means you think you're right and everybody else is wrong. And we have been infected. We have been defected. We have been, Sanders says it's closed-minded nonsense, and that's great. Mr. Alfester, I'll just say Macklefester, says pretty bleak. And not only is it those things and more, but through these 2,000 years of Roman, Judeo, Christian indoctrination and enslavement, because you are enslaved in a fear and guilt control matrix. If you're told that you're born with original sin, I've had 3 kids, and now I've got 4 grandkids. And I can tell you, being in the room, cutting the cord on my 3 kids, they were not born with original sin. I can tell you, knowing my grandkids, well, no, I'm kidding. Knowing my grandkids, they're not born with original sin. What else is it other than a fear and guilt control matrix? If you believe that you're born sinful, and that if you don't do some specifically prescribed mechanizations, that you're going to go to hell and burn forever. If you believe in original sin, take a look at your son, take a look at your daughter, take a look at your grandchild, and tell me you still believe it. I'll wait. It's fear, it's guilt, it's control, it's a matrix. And if that weren't bad enough, we've also been, our ability to think cognitively has been hijacked. 2,000 years of Roman, Judeo-Christian indoctrination and enslavement have left our cognitive facilities in disarray. Simply put, thank you, knowledge seeker. Simply put, we've forgotten how to think. We've forgotten how to think. We've forgotten how to really think. We've forgotten how to really, truly think. This is good stuff, just in case you were wondering. We've become people who analyze in a vacuum. That's why we screw everything up. We've become people who analyze in a vacuum. That's what D. James Kennedy was doing. He was analyzing in a vacuum. I wrote Evangelism Explosion. It's working too good for you. Stop it. That's analysis in a vacuum. The analysis is, I wrote this. He's using it, but he's using it to further a agenda, Christian agenda, supposed to be the same church, to further an agenda that I don't support. Analysis in a vacuum. What are you talking about, Jeff? I'm talking about the fact that when we do our analysis, the way we think, the way we cognitively reason today is that we do so in a vacuum, and that's why we screw everything up. John Donne said that no man is an island. And that's true. Here comes what, Sandra? No man is an island. And neither is any idea. Neither is any concept. Neither is any energetic emanation. Neither is any intention. None of us are islands. No man, no woman is an island. And no thought is an island. No concept is an island. No idea is an island. No belief is an island. And yet, when we formulate our beliefs, when we formulate our ideas, when we formulate our convictions, we almost always do them in a vacuum. We do all of our analysis in a vacuum. That's why you can write a book that somebody uses that's really successful, but it's not your brand of success, so you ask them to stop. And it's not just him. That's just a good example. Here's the problem, folks. Analysis by itself must be accompanied with synthesis. Synthesis must govern our analysis, and it never does. Synthesis must govern our analysis, and it never does. No thought, no decision, no idea, no belief, no conviction is independent. And if we are really going to take the next step in human cognition, that means thinking, reasoning, deciding, growing, developing. If we're really going to take the next step in human cognition, we have to move from simple analysis in a vacuum to a concept that I call SYNALYSIS. My stepfather, Joe, told me this and said, feel free to steal it. So I am. What SYNALYSIS means is that you don't simply use analysis in a vacuum, nor, say you knowledge seeker, nice to have you here, sorry you have to go, nor do you use straight synthesis, because synthesis means you put things together. So if you just use synthesis, it might be like taking what your mom believes and your dad believes and your grandma believes, your next door neighbor believes, and your favorite TV preacher believes. You put that together and that's your beliefs. That's synthesis lacking analysis. No bueno. I try to, make it a multicultural show, so no bueno. That's my attempt at that. So synthesis without analysis, no bueno. Analysis without synthesis, no bueno. So what are you talking about? It's like, let's break it down to stuff we can understand. Let's just say somebody says, I'm a Republican, and I'm going to vote Republican. I'm going to vote Republican. Why? Because I study the Republican Party. I like the candidate. But have you stepped back to see how the policies of the Republican Party have affected the big picture. Your analysis must take in a synthesis of everything else. How does what you're deciding to do affect everything else? How does your decision to be a Republican or a Democrat or anything else, how does that affect the whole? It's not just for you. It's not just analysis, it's synthesis. And honestly, folks, you know I voted for Donald Trump. You know I've supported Donald Trump. But the reality is that if I really was thinking synalytically, if I really was employing SYNALYSIS, I might be closer to my anarchistic friends and say that, you know what, even though I vote for Donald Trump, TJ Warner, first time here, arrived on a suggestion from a Wayne Steiger video. Wayne is a prince of a fellow. We do a show every Sunday if I'm not doing something else. And I love Wayne, great guy, glad to have you here. So where was I? SYNALYSIS. What was my last point that I just made? Darn. I lost it. But at any rate, if you really looked at what the Republican Party stands for, it's really not that much different than the Democratic Party. And the whole idea of a two-party system has led us to a place where things are not so bueno. So maybe if we think in SYNALYSIS, we might say, you know what? This voting thing, whether I vote for the left wing or the right wing, I end up with the same bird being given to me. That was pretty good. We might step back and think, if we think about it in the greater whole, it might be time to rethink this whole thing. I remember Mark Twain said that if voting was that important, they wouldn't let us do it. I remember Joseph Stalin saying, it's not who votes, it's who count the votes. I remember Thomas Jefferson saying, a little revolution now and again is a good thing. No, I'm not advocating armed revolution. I'm not advocating lock and load, all that stuff. But it might be time to say, you know what? If we look at the synthesis of everything, choosing up sides isn't the right way. Let's think of something else. Let's think of something better. So now let's think about it with our religion. I need to make a change in my life. This is a thought process. I need to make a change in my life. I've born and raised in a Western culture dominated for 2,000 years by Christianity. I need to make a change in my life, or I want people to think I've made a change in my life. What do I do? Well, you go and you become a Christian, or maybe you go and become a dedicated Jew, or maybe you go and become a Muslim, and it's all the same God, Allah, the Lord, and G-D, all the same God, different names. And you go and you say, look, I'm going to become a Christian. You analyze, you say, look, okay, it's close to me. I like the people, might be nice for networking. I really need a change in my life. I'll become a Christian. So you become a Christian. You do that through an analysis that's really in a vacuum. Because if you step back for a minute and thought, should I become a Christian? And if you step back and looked at the synthesis of the whole, you would realize that the God of the Bible, and by the way, the guy that started, or the guy that got Christianity pinned on him, he didn't start it. He started a different religion. But the guy that you think started Christianity said that the God of the Bible is a murderer from the beginning. The God of the Bible is a liar from the beginning. And most of you that go to churches are still killing with your words, with your thoughts. And most of you are still lying to yourself because, like the Christ said, you are of your daddy, the devil. He was a murderer and a liar from the beginning. And what you've seen him do, you can't help but do yourself. But we don't sit back and look at a synthesis. We don't go up and look from a macro level. We just say, I'm an American. Church is good. I'm going to join one. And a lot of people do it for good reasons. I want to change my life. I want to be a better man. I want to be a better woman. I'm going to be a Christian. But we don't, that's analysis in a vacuum. Look at the big picture. Let's sit back and see, what has Christianity done for the world? Well, the God's a killer. The God's a murderer. The God's a liar. What has Christianity brought to the world? Things like the Crusades. Things like the Salem witch trials. Things like the Inquisition. Fun stuff. Great times. Things like judging people and making it okay to kill people because they don't believe what we believe. And believing that there's a God. And let's face it, folks. If the God of Christianity is going to throw most of the people that he created in hell to burn forever anyway, how mad is he going to be if I punch somebody in the face? How mad is he going to be if I steal something? How mad is he going to be if I be mean to somebody? How mad is he going to be if I try to exert my control over people? How mad is he going to be if I cheat a little bit, if I lie a little bit, if I steal a little bit, especially if it leads to more money in the offering plate? How mad could a God that's going to kill billions of people really get at you if you just kill one or two? Come on, man. Yahweh's killing billions. Back to your book, it says, the road to hell is wide, many go therein. The way to life is narrow, few go therein. So let's think, can we just think about this in a synalytical way? Can we do a synalysis? I'm God. Somebody's going to take that and make a video. Darty says he's God. Let's just say I'm God, okay? We're doing a synalysis. I'm God, and I make everybody. I've made everybody. All of you, I've make everybody. I make everybody. And if the way that leads to hell is wide and most people are going there, and the way that leads to life is skinny and hardly anybody's going there, and by the way, the Bible says that hell had to get bigger. No reports yet on expansions in heaven. If I made all these people, and let's say wide is 70%, narrow is 30%, if I'm God and I make 100% of the people and 70% of them end up burning in a lake of fire, I'm not a very good God because I messed up 70% of the people. What kind of God messes up 70% of the time? That's analysis in vacuum. When you step back and start thinking in synalysis, you're like, whoa, maybe this Christianity thing ain't so good. Maybe this Judaism thing ain't so good. Maybe this Islam thing ain't so good. Maybe this Republican thing's not so great. Maybe this Democratic thing's not so great. And while we're at it, I'm an American. Okay. I served 6 years in the U.S. Air Force. And I'll tell you, from the first time to the last time, when I was standing at attention at some type of a retreat, honoring the flag, I would get tears in my eyes every time. Love my country. Dedicated to my country. Analysis in a vacuum. I sit back and I look, and this is why I really started thinking about Donald Trump. Why are we bombing people in Syria? Analysis in a vacuum. I love my country, but if I'm thinking synalytically, if I'm thinking in a synalysis, how can I be completely supporting when we're bombing people that are no threat to us? When we've killed millions of people, really for nothing other than the furtherance of the financial benefits of a small elite. The original idea of America, beautiful. What it's become today, not so much. But to suggest that we stop thinking analytically in a vacuum and start thinking in a SYNALYSIS, peace through bombing, it's tantamount to heresy. There's people right now mad at me because I've suggested that it might be time to rethink this whole, I'm an American, I'm a Canadian, I'm a Mexican, I'm a German, I'm a South African, I'm a New Zealander. Maybe it's time to start saying, I'm a human. I happen to reside currently in North America. But when we start moving from analysis in a vacuum and start thinking in synthesis terms, wow, it changes our entire perspective. Instead of I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other, what if we just say, I'm me, you're my sister, you're my brother? But Jeff, you are suggesting a complete change in human cognition, the way we think. Yes, I am. Because only, and I see I got Holly upset with me already. Then I'm not going to get into politics, but there you go. And see, that's what happens. We start thinking analysis in vacuum, and we can't get back and see the entirety of a situation. Sanders says this type of thinking will lead to liberation from separation and division consciousness. I agree with that. I like that. So maybe it's time, I know it's time for humans to move from analysis. It's time for humans to move from synthesis. Holly, I get your point. Don't be rude, or you won't be allowed to comment in this forum anymore. It's time to move from analysis. It's time to move from synthesis. And it's time to move into a way of thinking that we should call and can call SYNALYSIS. When you make a decision for yourself, remember, thank you, Corinna Garland. When you make a decision for yourself, consider the entirety when you make that decision. Don't make a decision in a vacuum. Make your decision in a synthesis. How is what I'm going to do, how's it going to affect me? How's it going to affect my family? How's it going to affect my community? How's it going to affect the world? How's it going to affect the vibration of the planet? How's it going to affect the energetic condition of the universe? I want to eat some chocolate cake. It'll feel good. It'll taste good. And in about 5 minutes, it'll make me feel sluggish. It'll jack up my blood sugar. And my body's going to dump insulin. It's going to make me fat. It's going to make me slow down. Mark Center Saint, good to see you, brother. It's going to make me dull of mind and spirit. And if I keep eating enough chocolate cake, it's going to put a strain on my family because I'm going to be sick. And then it's going to put a strain on my community because I'm going to have to be taking up space in a bed because I can't stop eating chocolate cake. And it's going to affect the national debt. It's going to affect the energetic signature of the planet, of the universe. Think about it, man. Something as simple as eating cake or not eating cake. Wow, Jeff. Somebody said, Michelle says it's like the Russian nesting dolls. but you start with the littlest one. How's this decision going to affect all these other decisions? We should ask this question before we take any action. Wow. SYNALYSIS. And what if we do affects more than just the universe? Nice question, John. SYNALYSIS, part 1. We'll have more to talk about this. We'll have more to say about this. No man is an island. No woman is an island. Ooh, Clint Taylor brings up multiverses. Wow. How does what we do affect multiverses? Could you imagine, Michelle says, the world if this actually could manifest? I always drink distilled water, Mark. That's all I drink, my brother. Think of what could be. And if it is to be, it's up to you and me. And if not, now when? If not us, whom? SYNALYSIS. Well, Jeff, that's a lot of responsibility. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. How are my thoughts, feelings, and actions, as well as intentions, affecting this moment? That's a great question, and that's a great place to leave off our pondering. Please go to jeffreydarty.com. Check out the MYSTECH bands. They'll change your life. They've changed mine. Please tune in Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. Sandra D'Angelo and I are launching a new show, and it's called Serpent and Dove. And the first subject we're going to talk about, it was actually Sandra's idea, is so mind-blowing that I'm not even going to say what it is. I'm not even going to say what it is until the show itself begins. Sandra's channel is Sandra D'Angelo, Portals of Progression, Conscious Conversations, Raw Reflections. Check her out. Check out R. Wayne Steiger. Check out Rex Bear Leak Project. And just confirmed, ladies and gentlemen, Rex Bear and I are going to jail. Rex Bear and I are going to be locked up in jail. Chris Aker, email me, christianwhistleblower@gmail.com. I'm your Huckleberry. That's just my game. We're going to be locked up June the 9th. Rex Bear and I will enter the Brushy Mountain State Prison, I think about 9 o'clock at night, and we'll be locked in until I think 6 a.m. the next morning. Google Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary, one of the most nefarious, horrific state penitentiaries ever. It was shut down because it was such a brutal, horrible place. And it is a paranormal, I don't want to say gold mine, but man, it is really something. Yeah, Rex and I are going to be cell buddies. Who gets the top bunk, right? But we're going to be there overnight for a paranormal extravaganza. I imagine we're going to try to be live, but I don't know if we're going to be able to broadcast through those thick walls of that prison and all that metal and stuff. So it might be that we're taping, and then love to take Wayne, but there's only 2 spots, and the great people offered it up to us. So we have accepted. I love Rex too. He has a great channel. Heidi Vandenberg, Jenny Moonstone, Trisha Gelder, Sue G. Who else am I forgetting about? Halo Marquise, Marquez, Jennifer Collins. I always forget one of the kids, and I'm so sorry. Doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means I forgot. Harriet says, all right, on the Prison Ghost Show. It was my pleasure to meet Harriet. Very nice lady. And Mark, I'm not going to be probably going to the wagon wheel much anymore, so I don't want you to drive up. I'm going to be doing festivals and things instead, including the St. Pete Pride Festival, I think June 1st. So we'll get a chance to get together. We need to get down there and have that show from your shop. But Rex Bear and I, June 9th, Brushy Mountain State Prison. Sandra D and I starting this Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, Serpents and Doves. Sandra will be joining me this weekend for another epic ghost walk. It's going to be, great stuff is happening, folks. Great times are happening. And as you can see, a lot of you have expressed concerns to me. And let's just talk a minute, okay? A lot of you have expressed concerns to me of, oh, Jeff, I don't like that you changed Christian Whistleblower. I don't like that you aren't Christian Whistleblower anymore. It's just a name. And the problem with Christian Whistleblower, and it wasn't a problem. If it was up to me, I probably never would have changed it, but I do take input from a lot of people that care about me and are smarter than me. But Christian Whistleblower, just by the name Christian Whistleblower, it does a couple things. Number one, it makes some people so that they won't listen to me no matter what. Not one word will they listen. They see Christian Whistleblower, that's it, they're not listening. And I'm just vain enough to think that I could help some of those people. So if I ixnay the Christian Whistleblower, somebody could say that in Pig Latin, but not me. If I ixnay the Christian Whistleblower as a lead, then there's going to be some people that will listen to me that wouldn't have listened to me. And then there's these knuckleheads that somehow still think I'm a Christian. How do you listen to me for 5 minutes and think I'm still a Christian? So it creates that confusion. And there's also, and Halo told me this. Halo said, you know what? It's interesting you say that, because we were talking about it when he was down here. People were like, he said to me, you know, if I didn't know you, and this is Halo Marquise, I would never have even listened to something called Christian Whistleblower, because, Halo's thoroughly new age. He's thoroughly, new thought. And he says anything that has Christian in it automatically puts me off because he understands what it is. How's the BS Buster? I like that, Mark. I'm going to steal that from you. The BS Buster. Of course, I don't think I stole it. You offered it up. The BS Buster. I like it. And so you got on one end people that have had a lot of Christian background or are still Christians, won't listen to me. You've got people in the new thought won't listen to me. You got some people that think I'm still a Christian get mad at me. Now, there are probably some people, when I say Christian Whistleblower, oh, I like that dude. I like that dude. He sounds like he's rough and tough, and boom. There probably are some people that like that Christian Whistleblower. But I'm afraid that that it probably scared off more than it brought in. And let's face it, if I can get them to listen to me for at least a minute or two, I'll probably offend them within the first 5 minutes, but at least I'll hear something and maybe they'll come back. And I've been following my analytics. It does box me in. Thank you, Sandra. I've been following my analytics and everything's ticking up since I made the change. So, and really new cosmic knowledge, and by the way, NCK, new cosmic knowledge could be new Christ knowledge. Boom. I do one-on-one sessions for donation. Yes. I am the harmless little fuzzball, your friendly neighborhood artist, formerly known as the Christian. But anyway, NCK, new cosmic knowledge, new Christ knowledge. And that's what I've always been. From the beginning, I was NCK. Used to be New Covenant Kabbalah, because I thought that's all that at that time I was saying Jesus taught. But then I realized, oh, that's just part of it. So it morphed into new cosmic knowledge, and here we are. So, today's a perfect example. Did we talk about CWB type stuff? Oh, yeah. We talked about some CWB type stuff, and we'll continue to talk about CWB type stuff. I'm still the CWB. It's just on the DL now. The new cosmic Christ. Yeah, it's just on the DL now. So that's what we're doing. I'm not sure what all the 8s and the A's and the M and stuff mean, Clint, but it's kind of cool anyway. Thank you for being here. I don't know if I've seen you before. Change requires temporary surrender of security. See, that's the deep stuff you get on Sandra's show. So check out her. Check out all the rest of the people that I said. Dan from Overwatch Channel's one I forgot about. Just stop and feel the love. And you know what, Max? That's a great point, because sometimes I do. I just stop and I feel the love coming to me. I mean, people coming out there to the wagon wheel, hugging my neck. It's a great feeling when you're standing there and somebody just walks up to you and hugs you. That's great times. Great, great times. So, ladies and gentlemen, analysis, let's grow up. Michelle Thompson, thank you. Analysis, let's grow up. Synthesis, let's grow up. And let's move into the place of SYNALYSIS. Ladies and gentlemen, hugs right back to you, Clint Taylor. I appreciate you, my brother. So, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is the Jeff Daugherty Show, New Cosmic Knowledge channel. And we exist for a few basic reasons. Number one, to help you guide your own spirit, to help you master your own ascension, to help you be your own guru, to encourage you to ask questions and question answers, and Dan and Deidre say, I think you'll reach a lot more people dropping the CWB, but honestly, I love the HE double hockey sticks out of the CWB because he isn't afraid of anyone or anything, and he's still not. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, he's still not. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday, Sandra D'Angelo. Thursday, Consequential Rapscallions. And we're still going to do a show with Michelle. Mondays are bad. I'm traveling a lot back and forth across the state, so Mondays get a little bit difficult for me. Be the change you want to see, like noon on Wednesday, noon Pacific time. Be the change you want to see, as Rex would say. And I'm not sure what Wayne's catchphrase is. But, oh, by the way, this is interesting. Let me just say this before I leave. On Sunday, I was at the wagon wheel. Lady came up from Canada, bought some MYSTECH bracelets, and she was the best friend of the mother of Steven Stamkos, captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yes, there will be a Sunday show. I'm not going to be going to the flea market anymore, the Mind Coitus channel. So we will be rolling that back out again, wall to wall, treetop tall. Much love to Wayne. Much love to all the rest of y'all. And if you're wondering what the plural of y'all is, it's all y'all. So I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. You're the Gospel Truth Army. I salute you and encourage you to unindoctrinate yourself.